Hey there everybody, thanks for joining me for another one-man review. Today we're going to be taking a look at a bunch of interesting little pieces by the artist A.T. Pratt. This came to me in the mail and this package that A.T. Pratt drew on, so really appreciate that. That's very cool. But let's jump right in. This is complicated work to show and like complex work in terms of like the way, it's put together. This is a good example here. These are cut and folded paper. Very, very cool to interact with. Some of them, like this one, this is Little Brothers number 5, and you can see that there's kind of art on both sides of things, and you can kind of also experience it like reading like this. That's a complete image, and you kind of have like a complete thought here, and then they go together to make an even more full composition. So these things work, in different ways too, which is interesting. Because of that, this does have like different sections and panels, but it also feels a bit like a single illustration or something. So they're a little bit confusing as to what they actually are. I'll show in one of these. There's a autobio comic where A.T. Pratt is getting frustrated with that, wanting to insist that they are comics, and for the most part they are. This one I think is my favorite in terms of combining the folding with the actual like reading experience of the comic. This is called Muggy Mouse's Sweet Treat, and on this one you read it and then you read like 1, 2, 3, and then you unfold and you get 4, 5, and then you unfold this way. Then you unfold up like this and like follow the story that way. And then there's a big fold out, a bunch of, well, actually, no. Yeah, there's a big fold out here that has like a pin up on the inside or a poster. And then, from here you start counting the reading, and then what's in the writing suggests also that you start, it says that you go home. So it suggests that you start wrapping up and like heading back out, because you've gone like down into the sewer. So then you kind of plug everything back up and go back home. So that, I think that one combines like the formal mechanism that is going on with the material production of the comic with the reading experience, and that makes this one, I think, like the most compelling one in terms of how the two things go together. Just showing a quick, these are all like little zine things. This one, Panda's Playhouse. And then you get like this cool thing of a cat in the middle, which is kind of fun. We have Negative Space. You can see that they're all tied together too, because they have these like fold out components, so it'd be hard to keep closed. This one is cool because it has some different colored papers. It has this kind of strange feature here where you can fold a piece over, and there's a piece in the middle, and then you have like a quite complex foldy piece here, and then opening up to a much bigger image, and then pieces on either side of there. So very cool stuff. As you can see in this one, you get a better look at A.T. Pratt's actual drawing and lettering and writing, and this is more of an extended story. I will say that this, in terms of art and writing, is not my thing. It's not poorly done. It's just not the type of thing that I personally enjoy looking at, and I'll explain more when I look at this one. Alright, and then last up we have Dot Comics. This is a time-traveling treasure trove of tantalizing tales. Basically a collection of short stories that A.T. Pratt has made. It looks like a risograph print, which is cool. We get some more interesting colors going on in this one. And then you get a wide variety of stories in here. I really like some of the production stuff going on in this one, like having this strange grid here with these little bits of color on the, like dots made out of dots on the inside. The look of some of that is pretty cool. The look of some of these pages that are dealing with like more monstery image, I quite like that, and the gridded nature of these things. But overall, throughout the book, you start to get a sense of like like what A.T. Pratt's comics are about in general, and they're mostly autobiographical, and they're mostly kind of talking about the difficulties of being an artist. And then a lot of the art has this very like underground, edgy, pushing the limits, like grotesque stuff going on in it. So that combination, and they're, as you can see, they're very dense, and the contrast isn't managed that well. And this is a specific type of like art that I know a lot of people like. It's very expressive. It captures emotion. It's particularly good at capturing angst and mental distress. But when I look at it and read it, all of that makes it hard for me to look at because it makes me anxious. It makes me stressed out. My eyes get tired like looking at the density of everything without any kind of thing visually to separate them out. It just gets cluttered looking. And to me, it feels like hanging out with someone who's having a psychotic break and they're just shouting at me like in anger because of whatever's going on in the psychotic break. It like this here, you can see that as well. It's just overwhelming. It's impressive, and I enjoy like the time that people spent on things like these. But and visually, I enjoy looking at it. Like I think this is a very cool design. But as a reading experience, it's just a very hard ask for me as a reader. I know some people like these things, but this one's particularly cool because it has like this whole extra section in the middle folding out. And design wise, a lot of cool things that I really like. You have the return of those little dots made out of dots. Just the psychedelic aspect of the designs on these I think are really nice. But yeah, like something like this where there's actually words in here and a reading experience and the handwriting's bad and it's too much. It overwhelms my eyes. So I can't speak to the content of the writing in this one because I got overwhelmed pretty quick, and I had already, this was the last one I had read because it looked like extra fancy with the two little things, and I was already pretty visually exhausted by that point. But it's mostly, kind of autobiographical rant stuff. So the rant aspect is in the dialogue as well. And yeah, that's just not for me. Like the stressed out rants, I've got enough stress in my life. But the way that this is all put together, I think, is absolutely fascinating. And I look forward to seeing A.T. Pratt evolve this as like a style, especially if there's stuff like the mouse piece where the unfolding really, really contributes to the reading experience. Now, that could be in this one as well. Like, I do think the idea of having these pop-ups represent like a psychological break where you experience extra dimensional things or something is a really good idea. I just don't know because it just overwhelmed me and I wasn't able to read it. So kind of split on this one, but I think this is one that if you're really into comics that are physically different and interesting, you should go buy this. And then if you are into this kind of art, this kind of more like, I don't know, edgy, I don't even think it's being edgy. It's just this intense work that is hard for me to read. If some people are into that, then you should definitely go out and get this because this is a prime example of it, combined with really cool formal mechanisms.